What up, guys? NerdScum here. I got a video coming out a little bit later today that I hope you guys are going to check out and totally dig. But today I went to two of the three local comic book stores here in town. Thought I might show you what I got. So why don't we take a look? Alright, so first off, we've got Freejack, issue 3. Now, this really isn't in the best condition, and I flipped through it, it looks pretty cool, but the main reason I got it is because Chuck Dixon. And, like, his stuff's usually pretty solid. I'm really loving his return to Bane that's going on right now. And he's just always put in solid work, so I'm just checking it out for fun. So I already have one of these. However, I just went ahead because I'm a huge nerd like I am and gave in, and I went ahead and got all of the, well, I got the second issue finally, and then I also went through and got all of the new Ash versus the Army of Darkness variant covers. Just because, like, most of them just, I dug the art more than anything else. So I got those, and then I had missed out on these on a New Comic Book Day, but I needed to get my Jack Kirby fix in. Especially because one of the stores I was at today, they had the old school Jack Kirby Devil Dinosaur trade. But it was just a little out of my price range, so that, along with Thor versus Hulk, and then Thor proper, those should really help me with my Jack Kirby fix, you know? So those are all the just regular comics that I got. So up next we've got the trade and collected editions. So these I have read before, but I never had them personally, and was able to get all three today. The Superman versus Alien, or Superman Alien. And again, I read these a long time ago, and, you know, like, I was very young, and I remember liking it quite a bit, but, I'm gonna go through them again. It's been a while. Either way, I mean, the art looks relatively solid, you know? Probably a little hiccups here and there, but all in all, it looks like a pretty solid book. And, I mean, it's got Dan Jurgens and frickin' Kevin Nolan on it, so can't be all bad, you know what I'm saying? So then, in a totally different direction, Bill and Ted's Most Triumphant Return, with a foreword by Alex Winter, no less. This, I have no idea what I'm in for. The art is not necessarily my style, really, but it could work very well for this book and the tone they're going for. I really have no idea what to expect, but I'm excited to check it out and see what's up. Because I'm one of those poor, sad people who is actually pretty excited at the prospect of a Bill and Ted 3, which, you know, they keep talking about it, but I'm not sure if we're ever actually going to get it. So again, going in a slightly different direction, The Lurking Fear is pretty much one of my top 3 favorite Lovecraft stories, and I will pretty much buy any interpretation of it. And this is like just nice black and white, a lot of kind of classic horror, noir style stuff. So this is going to be some great late night reading. Just awesome. Alright, so then these next couple are Marvels from back whenever they were doing more of kind of the prestige format still more often. Now this, I had never actually even heard of, and I am a huge Punisher fan. So, like, as I was flipping through all the stuff and found this, I was like, what? Punisher G-Force? Punisher's going to space? And, sorry guys, spoiler, he's only in space for, like, the last, like, eighth of the book. But nevertheless, as I flip through this, it's some really nice, classic, I think this is like a 1992, probably? 92, 93 maybe. But just some really nice kind of old school, kind of blocky, big Rambo bandana Punisher stuff from like when I was a kid. So I don't know, I might actually read this and do a little review for it. If that's something any of y'all might be interested in, definitely let me know, and I'll get on that. Especially that. That is dope. Look at that. Like, compare that to Punisher as he is right now, like in Secret Empire, and even in like his normal Punisher book, which is like half the time after school special Punisher. Um, and there's just no contest. In fact, I don't know. With the new images and everything of the Punisher from the Netflix series and the action figures being released and stuff, I might actually end up doing just a Punisher video on my feelings on the Punisher and where he's come, or how far he's come, and then how far he's fallen, and why Punisher, despite being a very simple character, seems to be exceedingly difficult for writers to write consistently well for. This other one I had heard of, but I've never actually read this one either. The Amazing Spider-Man Soul of the Hunter, which is the second, well, it's the sequel to Kraven's Last Hunt. And there are apparently 3. Maybe there's more than that. If there's more than that, let me know in the comments. But there's at least 3. There's this one, which I've actually been told is pretty solid. Then the third one is basically Kraven's daughter coming after Spider-Man, so I understand it. Which, again, I haven't had a chance to read. But again, I mean, it's not overly complex, but this art, just like the form and stuff, like that is great for Kraven. Just like built like a tank, you know? Pretty solid stuff. Some nice Spidey nightmares. You know, I'm really excited about this because Kraven's Last Hunt is just a great, weird, twisted Spider-Man story, and I'm interested to see how they felt they could top that in a sequel. This one is technically a little bit old and a little bit new. As I said before, I was really needing kind of my Jack Kirby fix. And I've been reading the Kamandi Challenge as it's been coming out monthly, and it is fantastic. If you're not checking that out, check it out. It's just great. Basically, each issue is a new writing team and a new team of artists working on the book, and basically they try to write and illustrate the team after them into a corner, and then end it there on a cliffhanger like old serials used to do. And then the next team just has to kind of try to figure their way out of it. Some of those instances have been handled, you know, to greater and lesser degrees of success. But either way, the book's been really fun. And around that same time they put this out, but I was unable to get a copy of it, where it's actually just 2 old school Kamandi stories. Specifically, the original Kamandi story, which again I've read in digital, but I've never actually had the physical copy. And it's not an old school copy, but that's not why I want it. It's not for the value. It's because I want the story. And as much as digital comics are good for what they are, there is something very different about the pacing of the way you flow through a comic book as opposed to a digital. And in fact, a lot of the best straight to digital... Oh, that's great, that map of the whole freaking world. That's awesome. But yeah, a lot of the best direct-to-digital comics these days are made with that in mind, knowing that the way you're going to read it on your phone is different, so the formatting really works for that, or towards that. They make a conscious effort. So this next one, I'm probably going to get some crap for, but I don't know. Extreme X-Men. For those of you who don't remember, Extreme X-Men, I mean... Okay, look at this. The alternate versions of these characters. Look, I love this version of Wolverine so much. These are just crazy, weird, awesome alternate takes that have, like, some... They have this awesome, weird middle ground art where, like, it was kind of in between where it was and where we are now. Some of the digital coloring's not great and stuff, but in general, I just think they're fun, kind of crazy stories, and I love this awesome, badass, like, purebred Canadian Teddy Roosevelt, Prime Minister of Canada Wolverine. And in one of these volumes, I think it's volume 2, which I actually already have, I think there's a great storyline where him and Hercules, who are a couple in this universe, Zeus finds out, and so he sends them to Hades, because I guess, like, Zeus is super homophobic in this universe. So he's... That's awesome. So he sends them to Hades, and there's, like, this whole awesome story... Or wait, is this it? No. Yeah, but there's this whole awesome storyline of just them, the two lovers, basically killing demons and dinosaurs and fighting their way out of hell, and it's freaking awesome. And then there's just like this great image of like, and if you Google it, I'm sure you can find it. Logan kisses Hercules. It's just this great image where like, I think it's Hercules' leg is up, like a classic romance novel. It's great. So yeah, I'm excited to read that again. I haven't read that in a long time. And so finally, we get to the thing that is probably what I'm the most excited and most happy for. Oh my God, Stack Deck. The greatest Joker stories ever told, the expanded edition. Now, having said that, this does not contain The Killing Joke or The Man Who Laughs or Azzarello's Joker or any of those kind of stories. This is more the old school. Like you start off, and each of the stories has a nice opening for it, and then we get into like, yeah, the first Joker story ever. And it goes through that, just like all the most quintessential, most important Joker stories of, I can't even remember what year. So yeah, I mean, we're going here, like we're back into the 70s, maybe the early 80s before Frank Miller came along and did his thing. Now, some of these, a lot of the Golden and Silver Age stories I read whenever I was working at Barnes & Noble and the big collected editions, but there's a lot of stories in here that I have never got a chance to read, and I'm super excited for it. Although I was disappointed because when I first picked it up, like the main thing I was looking for was The Man Who Laughs, which I've had just hell trying to find in trade. But yeah, this I'm super stoked about. So I've got a lot of reading to do, especially because I'll be reading about another 40 titles on Wednesday when the new books come out. But yeah, and this thing is beautiful and bound. I think if I remember correctly, this was like, stores got this as a bonus for buying a certain amount of product or something like that. But some of these go for like 80, 90 bucks online. This one's got a little bit of discoloration along the spine, and the glue inside is coming loose, but I've got book glue. I can fix that. So all in all, this, $10. Like, that's a hell of a steal. Oh, so yep. All in all, I would say that's a pretty good haul. Got plenty to read before Wednesday when the new comics come out. Right on, guys. Thank you very much. This is Nerd Scum. Hope y'all enjoyed. If you'd like to see me do a review on any of these specific books, just say the word and I'll try to get something worked out. Hopefully I'll have something cool coming out for y'all later tonight as well.